We are recording here, sound speed. This is our attempt at gear recommendations for people starting out. Clap, sync, check. Okay, Tim Clark and Casey Lee here from BiteSite. I haven't been on camera in a while, but we thought we'd do something a little bit more informal today. And we thought we'd give some advice to people who are looking to get into videography, which is pretty much all our channel. But you know, there are a lot of people in corporate video, either wanting to start up their own corporate firm or video production firm, or maybe you work in a corporation or business where you're the marketer and you want to film some videos for your company. I think something that can get overwhelming is what to invest in, what to buy in terms of gear, because you may have a good kind of cell phone camera. Again, like, you know, a lot of iPhones and Android phones today have really good cameras, but you want to try to take it to the next steps. And when you start to go down this rabbit hole, you start to find like audio gear, like microphones, recorders, you know, boom poles. When you look at lighting, there's like LED panels and like tungsten lights and all these things. And then there's a billion cameras out there, tripods, sliders, gimbals. There's just so much stuff you can invest in, and it can be very hard to figure out what you want to buy. And you know, it really does depend on what you're doing. It definitely depends on the type of filming that you're doing. But this video, we're going to concentrate on corporate video, because that's really what we do a lot of, and talk about kind of recommendations of what you can buy when it comes to corporate video. So when I talk about corporate video, it's really about things like event coverage. Testimonial videos are really popular in corporate video. Explainer videos or product videos are very popular in corporate video. And I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, any kind of, yeah.
So when it comes to those kinds of videos, Tim, I mean, if somebody came to you and all they had was a cell phone camera,
right,
what would you recommend they invest in?
First thing I would say is check out the course we just put out on how to shoot good mobile video. But I think there's a lot of price points, like going up from cell phone. Like a lot of price points, you know, starting with prosumer cameras. DSLR is probably the first thing if you're looking to get a camera that's better than a cell phone. DSLR mirrorless cameras. We're actually shooting right now on, again, I don't know what, whoever's watching this video, what prices you'd be interested in, but this camera is how much? Like,
this is $1,700, so it's definitely a little bit more expensive. But I mean, there are cameras that corporate video people use that are like $50,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I mean, this is under $2,000.
Yeah. I was literally just telling somebody today, they were on the shoot I was just at, like, they were shooting with a phone for social media or something, and I was saying, like, man, your camera's so crazy. But in my head, I'm thinking, like, this is such a tiny little camera, because I'm used to thinking of people with like red cameras or like shooting corporate video with like a red camera.
Well,
like,
it's crazy too, because a lot of phones are like $1,500.
Yeah,
Well, not a lot of them, but a bunch of them are. Yeah. But Tim brings up a good point that DSLRs though can be as cheap as $600. You can get a $600 Canon for like. A $600 Canon with a lens, and then you can even get some, you know, smaller cameras. I would say if you're going to get like a point and shoot camera, it's probably not worth your investment, because you're probably not going to get something that's that much better than your phone, because phones again are really good these days. I think the big advantage that you want to get to when you step up to a better camera is really interchangeable lenses. That's really one of the big things there. So yeah, definitely cameras is something that you can invest in. I would actually recommend that sound is probably the number one place I would up your game. We've recommended this previously, but buying like a lav mic, like the one that Tim's wearing right now. So the one that Tim's wearing right now is like $60, $70 Canadian. And they work with smartphones, which is great. And I think when you up your sound, it's just something that not a lot of people invest in. I think they can really get you know, better results with that.
Yeah, I think there's some things, as well as like having a tripod. There's like really simple things that add a lot to your videos and make them look a lot more professional, I guess. So yeah, sound is huge.
That's a good point. Tripod, actually. If you don't have a tripod, and not all video needs tripod, but if you're kind of doing something like this where you're again talking to the camera, a tripod can add a lot of professionalism to it, right? And tripods I think they can be as cheap as like $50, something that line.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I would say like there's certain things. I mean, maybe we should approach this from the other side. I mean, what wouldn't you spend your money on right away, right?
Yeah.
You know, we have a dedicated sound recorder here, which is the Zoom H4n, which is already a really old model. The newer model of this is $300. I don't think you need a sound recorder when you're starting off. You know, your in-camera audio or your phone's audio is probably good enough when you're starting out. What about lights? What's your opinion on lights? Would you invest in lights early on or not?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I was starting out in video, I didn't have any lights, I would probably just get like an on-camera LED. I don't know what the prices are. You could probably get one of those for like $50 or so. They can get pretty expensive too, though. They can, you know, a couple $100 for a little light.
Yeah.
But I think if you experience the benefit of like a little light and kind of learn how to use that and what situations to use it in, then you'll feel more confident and you'll feel a bit better about spending more money on maybe like a 3 light setup with like light stands and everything.
It's a good point, because we have gotten a lot of leverage out of a small on-camera LED light. And I think, again, ours is like $50, $60.
Yeah.
So I think it's like one of these things where, like, there's a lot of times where we don't have the luxury of bringing our big lights everywhere we go, so we just kind of use a little light, and even that adds quite a bit.
Yeah, that's one of those things that goes a long way, I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes like natural lighting is great, and if you don't even have money for a light, just having the experience or the knowledge of how to use, like, you know, the light that you have can be really useful.
And then when you kind of get into other kinds of gear that I really, again, don't think it's worth investing in early on.
Yeah.
Right? You have things like gimbals, drones, sliders.
I'm laughing at myself because I think I'm kind of guilty of it. Like, I got the Ronin S. I've used it like a handful of times, but it's this expensive kind of handheld, well, somewhat expensive gimbal. But
and we should mention that. I mean, like, part of this is the fun in it, right? I mean, if you're really looking for a return on investment, I would say those things are really not the smartest place to put your money in. But if you enjoy them, I mean, again, there's the first time you look at drone footage, you're like, oh my God, I want to fly a drone all the time, right? Okay, so there's a lot of things we talked about here, but I think ultimately it's not super helpful because we kind of mentioned a bunch of things that were like, oh, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do this. So kind of to end off this video, Tim, we talked about potentially getting a camera, potentially getting sound equipment, potentially getting lights, and potentially getting gimbals and tripods and all this stuff like that. If you had to pick one piece of gear, let's say somebody came to you and said, I film my corporate video on my cell phone and I have nothing else. I just have a cell phone. And I can invest in one piece of gear. What would you pick, do you think?
Definitely, pretty sure definitely lav mic, like audio. Again, cell phone cameras are pretty good, but they're pretty bad for audio. And I think audio, I'm sure this has been said many times in many places, but audio is a lot less forgiving than video. So if you have like noisy, bad quality video, but your audio sounds great, people are going to think it's a pretty good video. But if you have a great looking video but bad audio, people are going to notice that. It's going to be a lot more noticeable, the bad audio, as opposed to bad visuals. So yeah, I think just getting a lav for your phone.
I think I would agree. For me, I kind of would go back and forth between audio or a tripod, but again, you can get away with holding your phone pretty steady. And the nice thing about buying like a little lav mic, like the one that Tim's wearing, is that it will last you throughout all your film gear that you buy after that, right? Like, we're still using this thing. This is a $60 microphone that I bought 7 or 8 years ago, and we're still using it today. Because, you know, just a little bit of investment into audio really goes a long way and it lasts you a really long time. So yeah, I think I would agree. If you're looking for one piece of gear to buy to kind of up your game and you don't have it already, I would say buying a microphone. So we'll put some links in our video for different microphones that you could buy, but this is the Audio Technica ATR3350. There's also a Deity lav mic that's kind of similar price.
And then there's like the phone apps that you can use that kind of give you more access to your phone. So if you're trying to stick with your phone, you can get apps that kind of allow you to change. Just, it kind of brings you into the, I don't know how to say this. So there's apps you can get for your phone that kind of just allow you to have a lot more control over the video on your phone. So,
and you know what? Again, one of the things that you should know too, I mean, is that we say that, you know, when you want to invest in some gear, but you can get away with not investing in a lot of gear. with microphones, to be honest, if you just bring your phone closer to the person that's speaking, you already get a lot better results that way. Wistia has a great piece of advice where you actually record somebody with another phone while you film them on another phone, because the microphone on the phone is actually not too bad. It's usually just a distance kind of thing. So, so there it is. I mean, again, if you guys are looking to up your game a little bit and you're starting to get into corporate video and you want to invest your money, both Tim and I agree think that microphone is a good way to go. So. I guess that's it. If you guys like this format, let us know. This is something we're doing very last minute. It's a pretty long video, but yeah, if you have any things that you want us to cover informally, this informal chat's really easy for us to do. Maybe at one point we'll do a live Q&A or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. See you later.